Hello and welcome back to My Favorite Game Showcase. In this installment, the game is Advance Wars for the Game Boy Advance. Advance Wars, short for Game Boy Advance Wars, was released on September 10th, 2001. It was developed by Intelligent Systems and was published by Nintendo. Advance Wars was the first Nintendo Wars series title to be localized outside of Japan, and as a result, many Western gamers consider this to be the first game in its own series, which is erroneous because, in reality, this dates back to Famicom Wars, which originally on the Famicom in 1988. Advance Wars is an incremental and essentially a refined version of previous Nintendo War Series games, most notably Super Famicom Wars for the Super Famicom and Game Boy Wars 3 for the Game Boy Color. Since this game was released on September 10th, 2001, it was actually delayed in releasing in Europe and Japan due to the September 11th attacks in 2001. As a result, this version, the North American version of Advance Wars, is actually a little bit different than the Japanese and European versions, which were released later with some refinements and some differences. But all told, Advance Wars was one of the most popular games for the Game Boy Advance, and in fact, it probably stands as the Game Boy Advance's single best game ever made for it. And that's really quite a statement because the Game Boy Advance has some amazing games. So if you haven't played this game before, I just want to show off the first little map and show you why this game is so amazing. So here it is. This is my Game Boy player. I got up my Super Nintendo controller, Super Famicom controller, and I'm going to be using that with the retro port from RetroZone that allows you to use a Super Nintendo controller on the GameCube, and we're going to use that to play the Game Boy player. So we're going to play Nintendo Game Boy Advance Wars here. So here it is. I'm going to put it in and turn it on, and here we go. So here it is, Advance Wars. For those who have never played a Nintendo War Series game, the Nintendo War Series are a series of turn-based strategy games, much like Fire Emblem, but you don't have characters that you specifically have to personalize with, like in Fire Emblem. In Advance Wars, or any of the Nintendo War Series games, you control basically basically this nameless army that are just grunts, and so if they die, it doesn't really matter, as long as, you know, you have enough to survive to beat the level or whatever. As this was the first Nintendo War Series game released outside of Japan, Nintendo and Intelligent Systems included an extensive field training, which is basically a built-in tutorial on how to play this game. This is a textbook example of a perfect tutorial. This teaches you everything you need to know about the game, and teaches you as you progress. So it starts off with like the most basic ones, which is troop orders, and then as it gets more and more advanced. And if you've played a Nintendo War Series game before, you will know this stuff right away. But Advance Wars does add some things unique to the mix beyond just what Super Famicom Wars had. One of the biggest differences is CO powers. But let's show you the first match here, which is the campaign. So let's start a new game. One of the differences is the Red Star Army is now called the Orange Star Army, and this was basically done for censorship as opposed to, to avoid referencing the Red Star Army, which is the Russian army. most of the previous Nintendo War Series games just had sort of nondescript armies that just fought each other, and the COs or anything didn't matter. In this game, the COs actually have personality, and it's sort of like an anime-style, over-the-top, cartoony way, but things are just, it's so good. So this is the CO power. The CO power is an individual strength, and that gives individual COs and a different ability to that it would appear once every several turns. For Andy, his CO power allows him to repair his units and allows them to give a little bit of a firepower bonus. He's probably the easiest to use and therefore the most beginner friendly. So just like Famicom Wars before it, the game takes place on this grid pattern overworld, and this is just a small map to start off with because you know, the game doesn't want to overwhelm you. So this is what the map looks like if you press the pause button, and then you can look at everything all at once. If you hold down the B button, it'll make your all units disappear, so you can see the terrain details, such as the buildings, or the mountains, or the forests, or the plains, or whatever. Different areas have different attributes, such as the road here. It will give no cover if your units are attacked on it. Plains give a tiny bit of cover. Cities give a standard amount of cover. Mountains give almost the highest cover. And rivers give no cover either. Forests give a little bit of cover. The cover system, as this is a turn-based strategy game, it works as your units do damage to the opponent and then the opponent counterattacks. If you have a superior force, such as the mid-tank here, which is the most powerful unit in the original Advance Wars, you can check out all this detail and stuff. It's crazy. So send my mid-tank to attack the small tank. More powerful tank, so it will do 85% damage, or 8.5 out of 10. All units have 10 HP, or 100 HP, so this will do 85% damage, so or 8.5 damage. And then there's a luck factor. Once a unit attacks, it can no longer attack in that given turn, so now I have to select a different unit. If you press the L button, you can select, this is all the different units, and we'll cycle through them. So what I want to do here is I want to send you into the mountains. Different units have different terrain abilities and different areas that they can attack with. Let's see, let's have him go there and like that. Once all your units have moved and you can't do anything anymore, you can pause the game and then go to end, which is end turn. It is now the opponent's turn. This is small tank versus my anti-aircraft guns. So the different COs. Let's go to Intel, or go Intel here, and then go look at the COs. So there are two different COs. There's Andy here, which is my CO, and versus the opponent Odolph here. There are different CO abilities. The CO ability of Andy is Hyper Repair, which repairs 2 HP to all damaged units. Odolph's ability is causing it to snow, and during snow, your army or opponent's armies will consume double fuel, and their ability to move will be more limited. All right, so let's have. First thing we want to do is want to check the range of this rocket launcher. Of course, the medium tank versus the artillery shellers, direct attack, the artillery can't fire back, so you have a 100% chance of attacking without any sort of consequences. So this is the opponent's aircraft, anti-aircraft guns, so that's his range for that. Can he? Yes, he can. So, let's see. Which one should I attack? I'm going to choose this. Soldiers like this mech here, bazooka mech, can capture neutral cities. Neutral cities, once they're converted over to your color, will grant HP and supply. It will grant supplies and HP bonuses to units that are stationed there, such as my damaged or anti-aircraft gun here. I think it best if you go and repair at one of the cities. And let's have my rocket launcher bazooka dude go and destroy this tank. Bazookas away! Okay, all done. Opponent's turn. Damaged units will do less damage because, they're damaged. Alright, 2 days later, a city is captured. He does less damage because he's protected by a city. I can't move, otherwise I'm going to be attacked. Rodolph's CO power. Blizzard will cause it to turn to winter and start snowing, which will cause his units to attack and be exempt from the snow, but your units will consume twice as much fuel and also will have a more limited attack range, or movement range, I should say. All right. Now I still can't move because this will attack my units if I do move. So it's best if you don't move. Alright, I'll leave it like that. Alright, now it's best if I send my anti-air or my artillery cannons to repair. Also going to have you attack from the forest. And my infantry soldier attack from the city. I think that was a bad idea. Hopefully. Ah, it was. See, he's gonna attack it now. If I don't just attack him first. Let's see if I can do this. Next. Attack. This is now my CO meter filling, so this allows me to use my CO power anytime I want to. Anti-air missiles for the Vulcan cannon of an anti-air gun is very useful against the ground troops, because it is a machine gun after all. Next, send you into the woods and you come up here. let's retreat. Let's engage. And let's distract. Maybe he'll attack this foot soldier instead of attacking my damaged tank. Next, let's send him there. Foot soldiers can do very little damage to artillery or tanks. Even when they're at full health. Mechs can do more because they have bazookas, but these guys just have machine guns. With no secondary weapon. Turns over. Plan worked. Alright, now is the best opportunity to repair my stuff. So all units simultaneously gain an HP improvement by 2, and also get a little bit stronger, which is why they're glowing right now. See if I can do 1 damage. Nope. Probably 0.8 or something. So he's like, 5.2% health. Let's see if I can damage. Alright, now I have the advantage here. That said, let's send, let's see. Smart. Recon. And my big tank has a secondary weapon of the machine gun. Won't be long now. artillery, go! That's his mid-tank. Retreat. Let's check the range. Okay. So I can go safely right here. 1, 2. Yep. Fairly suicidal to do this, but I can't close the gap fast enough because of the snow. Even though these are on treads, it won't go past the woods here. Could put him in the mountain, but that would be still under the artillery range. Yeah, I can't do that. Alright, end turn. I only have 1 shell left. Engage. Hey, there we go. There we go, too. Even though he'll be in firing range. Be completely overwhelmed. Oh, he's not even going to bother to attack. I will, though. Now, matches can end 2 different ways. You can either capture the opponent's HQ, or, which will take 2 turns to do this, or you can just destroy their entire army down to every last unit, which is what I'm going to do, just for the sake of fun. And once again, this is Advance Wars for the Game Boy Advance. Easily one of the best games for the system, and it's not very expensive, so I should definitely recommend you guys go out there and pick it up. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.